Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to make this arm cuff or bracelet cuff. I don't really know what you want to call it. I did the one in colors and I did this one in the white and the black, and obviously change your colors as you want to. Yeah, I used embroidery floss, and I used, when I made this one, I used 4 in the white and 2 in the black of this. And for this one I used 2 in the blue, 2 in the pink and 2 in the black. So, and then a little bit in the yellow. There was just a little bit. But if you struggle with 3 threads, I'm only showing you how to do it with the 2 threads. You can just come back and sew that on in this color, or just do it, this would have been pink. So as this one is black with the black, it looks just as good like this. So if you struggle, just do it in the 2 like I'm showing you here. Yeah, and I'm using a size 2.75 millimeter hook, and then when I started the work I did it in a smaller hook, which is not really necessary. Now if you find that you've, like this one seems, for whatever reason, seems to have a few more, sorry that's the wrong way, seems to have a few more little frills here, which it actually shouldn't, because with the 54 stitches picked up. But if you find yours is going like that a little bit too much, just skip a stitch and do your frill. You know, that's a nice thing with crochet work, is you don't even notice it, you know. So, but yeah, play with yours and, you know, make it so that you like it, you know. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm going to show you how to make this black and white one now. So let's get started. So to start this project, we're going to be using embroidery floss, and in this one I used like a pink and yellow, the blue, or this turquoise, and the black. Now the one that I'm going to make is actually going to be in black and in white. I'm just going to do it in black and white. So to start, you just start it off, you want to start off with a thinner crochet hook. This is a 1.8 millimeter, and the one that I'm actually crocheting the rest in is a 2.75 millimeter, and it's just this embroidery floss that we're using. The reason I'm starting with a thinner hook is because your first row is going to be very loose. Now if you don't have this thin hook or you find it really hard to use it, just do it all in this. It's not the end of the world, because I did that just with this one, and yes, it came out loose, but what I do is on this black round I just did a whole round of single crochet all the way around, and that tightened it up. So it's not the end of the world, but ideally you do want to do it in a smaller hook. So saying that, we're going to start off, and we're going to start off just doing ours in the white. Now I was thinking of doing it black with the white flowers, but the black is pretty tough to see with, and if we're going to be doing the whole one, so I'm going to do it do most of mine white and just with a black flower, and you can change it around. I mean, I might just do another one doing it the opposite way. So but anyway, so I'm going to start off doing that. Now you're going to just start off and you're going to put on, you have to have 54 stitches. Now what you can do is cast on 1 or 2 extra, just to be sure. It doesn't matter, because when you come back and do your one row, if you've got too many on, you can pull it off, but if you have too few, you're going to have to redo it. So I tend to make 1 or 2 stitches extra. I I make a few extra chain, but that's up to you. But the essence is you want 54, so go ahead and chain your 54 stitches, and then we're going to come back and do our first row. So I actually chained 55 so that I don't have to go into this very first one. I'm just going to skip that and go into my second one, and if I have too many I can just cast off the rest. So all you're going to do is you're just going to do single crochets. So just go into each one and you do a single crochet, and just make sure that you end up with 54. So you want to have 54 at the end of this row. So do that and do your single crochets, and then you'll finish with 54. Okay, once you've got your 54 stitches on, you're going to turn your work around and you're going to get your bigger crochet hook. So you're going to get your number 275, and you're going to start with your color work. Now this is a little bit tricky because it's very fine, so I won't lie to you, it's not a bed of roses like it would be if it was a thicker yarn, but because this also tends to curl up the whole time. So just initially you've got to just grin and bear it a little bit, and then the fun part comes. It's just this real first part where this curls up the whole time. Maybe this one won't curl up as much, but anyway, you're going to get your black floss and you're going to be sure that you got that one ready, and then just follow the pattern, just exactly what I've said. Now each little set that I have, for example, I've got 5 white, 4 black, 9 white, and then those are the only 3 I've got. You repeat that 3 times. So each row that I've given you, you repeat it 3 times, and that's what gives you this, because I've just made it for the first little section, for this little section. So you got to keep repeating it 3 times. And yeah, when it comes to this, for different sizes, you can make yours a different size on the ends here. You can just do extra black to make yours a little bit longer than mine if you need it longer, because I don't know your wrist size, but I've made the pattern like this. So yeah, but we'll work on that later. So anyway, so I want you to start, and you're going to start off, and it's saying that we need to do 5 in the white. Now I'm going into the very first stitch here. It's the way that I'm doing it. So the very first, when you're not skipping, so yeah, I'm going into this very first stitch. It's just the way I'm doing it, and just the first stitch is a little bit awkward, but after that it works out well. So you're going to go into the first one, and that's considered number 1, and you're just going to do single crochet. All of this is done in single crochet. So that's my first one, number 1. Then I go into the second one, 2, 3, and then number 4. Now you should know when you do your crochet work, that's 4, and then number 5. Your last stitch of white, you have to do the last portion in your new color. So I did 4 and I need 5. So that I've got my 4, this is number 5. So I've got to finish number 5 with my new color. So all that I do is introduce it here, however you want to introduce yours, and we've got to finish it off. Okay, so you just finish it off in the black. So now I've got 5 in the white, and then it says I need to do 4 in the black. So all that you're going to do is carry this white one. So just make sure that you've got it tight enough, and then you carry it, and it's 4 in the black. So you do 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now remember, because this is the last one in the black, you got to finish it off in the white. So you're now going to finish this off with the white. So you'll just finish it off with the white. So now I've got 5 in the black. And just be careful with embroidery thread, sometimes your strands want to separate. So I got 5 in the black, 5 in the white, 4 in the black, and now I've got 9 in the white. So you just keep carrying this one. Carry your black one. Now I hold mine, both of them, in the same hand. So I just alternate. So now I've got 1. Whoops, and I can feel when my thread hasn't got it all. 1, 2. Now to me, this is worth the effort of being a little bit tricky to work with, because the end result is what I'm after. So I don't mind struggling just a little bit with it being so fine. Now you can see my black, I'm just carrying it behind, well, really on top of your stitch, and then you just pull it every so often to make sure that it's nice and tight. So when I've got 9, then you're going to start again from the beginning of that row, which is 5 in your white. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're repeating this again. So you repeat it 3 times. Now it's going to be 5 in the white again. So 5, and then you're going to do your black again. And you just keep doing that for that row, and then your next row you're going to just do the same thing, repeating it over and over. Alright, so at the end of row 1, I just want to show you, I have 9 white to do now. I don't want to bring my black all the way over right to the end, because it tends, when you're bringing it back around, you get this like black part on the end of your stitch, which I don't want, which actually wouldn't matter too much because we're doing a border, but I don't want to do that. So kind of look at, well actually if you look at your row, the next row, you'll see that it says that I have to do 3 white. So when I turn around I have to do 3 white, and then it's going to be 3 black. So I actually want my black one to be 3 before the end. So I'm just going to keep going until it's basically 3 before the end, and I'll show you how I bring my yarn up so it is at the right place. I'll show you now. 1, 2, 3, so 1 more. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, okay, you're going to always make sure that this black yarn flips over the white, and it's going to be on this side, because that will bring it up to your next round. Can you see there? I've just brought it up, so it must cross over the top of this white. Don't let it go underneath it. It must cross over, because then when you turn around it's going to meet you on that next round, else you're going to have it on the other side. It's hard to explain, but just make sure it crosses over the top there, and then finish your row. Oops, and I don't even know how many I've got now. I'm supposed to have 9, and I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 2 more, 7, 8, and then 9. That's your last one here. Whoops. So get that one in there. Oops, if I can just get it in. Alright, 9. Now I'm going to turn my work around, and as I say, I'm not doing a chain. I'm just going directly into this very first stitch. So just go into that very first one, and now I've only got 3 in the white. 1, 2, 3. Now if your yarn is not exactly where you want it, now 3, I've got to finish it off with the black. See, now my black is up where I need it on this round, else it would have been lower down, and if it was lower down you'd have to bring it up and you're going to see it. So that's why you do what I did. So now I've got to finish this round. Now another tip is, remember, say my white ended over here, I'd have to stretch my black over a few stitches, or which is fine. I had to stretch it over, say 3. I would just make sure that I came under my black every time for my stitch. I know it sounds, I'll show you when I get to one. Alright, anyway, now just change with your black, and be sure to tighten your white up. And now I have all of this ready. Okay, so now it's going to be 3 in the black. So, and always remember which stitch you're in and where, because you don't want to miss a stitch, especially with this fine work. You don't want to miss a stitch. So now it's 3 in the black. 1, 2. I suggest, if you've never done color work, or don't let this be your first project, because with a fine thread it's easier to learn your color work in a thicker yarn and hook, because this is, you need to be able to do it before you try it with this thin yarn, because it's a little bit tricky seeing your stitches. Okay, so now I've got my 3, and now it's going to be 2 in the white. 1, 2, and then it's going to be 5 in the black. So I'm just crossing it over, finishing this with the black, and then you're going to do 5 in your black. And if you've pulled your stitches too tight, it's easy to miss one. So just make sure, if you don't end off right with the right amount of stitches at the end of that round, pull it out, because odds are you've done it wrong. See, like there's a stitch right over here. 1, 2, and now 5 in the white. So now we finish this one off with the white, and you're going to do 5 in the white. So you're going to carry your black. The stitches that are easy to miss would be the ones that are right next to your color change. Those are the ones that you've got to be careful of, because sometimes if you pull your yarn too tight, they become very small. So just be aware of that. But yeah, so keep going with this. Keep doing your color work, and odds are I'll probably come in as I'm doing it and show you one or two other little tricks. But yeah, that's basically how you're going to do it. So keep doing that, and I'll talk to you again shortly. So this is the end of row 2, and I have 5 white left to do. Now this is what I was saying again, I don't want to carry my black all the way across, but if you look at row 3, I'm going to be starting off with 4 white. So when I turn it around, I'll be doing the first 4, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to bring my black over just one of these, and then I'm going to bring it to the other side. So once again, you must make sure that it crosses over the top of the white, and just hold it there and then work with your white, and it twists your yarn. Unfortunately, it twists your yarn more, but you better off doing that so that this is up at the top of the next round. So just make sure that you've done that and just keep going. And also another thing, your end stitch won't even look like a stitch, but don't miss it. So this is it right at the end here, so you don't want to miss that. It's right at this end one. It might not look like a stitch, but it is, and it's just because it's such fine work. And then once again, you just turn your work around and start with row 3, which is 4 in the white. Remember, you go into that very first one and do the rest of your work. So keep doing that, and I'll meet you on the next round. Right, I just want to give you a tip here. This is still row 3, and I've done my 3, and that is my 4th white, and I've got to change it over to black. You can see that this was the last stitch that I did. Now when you bring your black over, it tends to throw you off a little bit with your stitch, and you go here. This one's not as bad, but what I want you to always try and remember is that before you do that, remember that you've got one white before you've got the black, because sometimes it doesn't look as easy as this. It's a little bit harder. So just remember, before you actually do that black one, let's see if I can get it out, before you actually do the black, try and remember, for example, this, look at it and see, okay, I've got a white there and then I've got a black. So do that, because it does make a difference. This one's pretty easy, but sometimes it's a little bit trickier. So now I know that I've got a black one, I've got a white one before the black. Now what I also do is I tend to go under this many times, because I don't want to have a black one sitting there. So I take my black, I go under the black stitch, and then I go into my white. So what I do is I just go under that black, and now you can't really see it. Otherwise it's a bit too pronounced, but you can do what you want to. If you don't want to do that, that's also fine. But yeah, it just makes it a little tricky. But now just remember, like when you come back, see there's a stitch and there's a stitch. So always try and don't miss your stitches, because if you do, it becomes really hard to see where you are. So anyway, just wanted to show you that. Okay, so I thought I would just show you this little part that might be a little tricky. It's still using your basic theory of when you at your last stitch you have to change your colors, but when you've got one white, one black, one white, one black, it's a little tricky. So I thought I'd just show you. Now I'm on row 10 and I did 3 white and now it's 4 black. So I like to go under this part there and do 1, 2, 3, and then 4 black. Okay, so now because this is the end of the 4th, I've got to change my color to white. So it's 4 black, then it's 1 white. Okay, so we do that, and then you go into the next one for your 1 white. But because you have to change over already, it's like you're not finishing your white stitch, but you are. So now you've got to go back to the black. Now this one's got 2 black, which is a little easier, but you would do your 2, 1 and 2. Now you got to change over again, and then you've just got 1 white and 1 white. And then it's going to be 4 black. So it looks like you're not really doing your white, but you are making a stitch, even though it seems like you're not finishing your actual stitch. Now if you only had 2, you would just keep doing that. You would just, so now say I had to do, okay, now I've got another black. Okay, now let's just do it 1 1. So now I've got 1 black, now it's 1 white. So you would just do that now, 1 black, whoops, 1 black, 1 white. I'm just showing you kind of quickly, yeah, there, and then just change over, 1 white, 1 black. So I just wanted to show you that, but yeah, so let's keep going. Alright, so I've now completed all my little flowers, and then you do, when you've done that last row, you just do 1 row of single crochet, because we started off with 1 row just plain single crochet, so we want to make it equal on this side. So just do 1 row just of single crochet here, and then we're going to do the border, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so now what we want to do, now if you change in color, I would have, like when I made this bracelet, when I made this one, I changed color, so I stopped and then I started over here again with a new thread. But now because I'm going to keep doing mine in white, I don't want to get a new thread, so I'm going to just start down here, but it doesn't really matter where you start. What you're going to do is you're going to do single crochet, not single crochet, slip stitch all the way around. And the reason I did that was it just brought it in more, because this is a little bit floppy there. So by doing the single crochet, the slip stitch, it just brings it in. Now it's a little bit, so it makes a bit of a tighter stitch, but it does pull your work together, which is nice. Now this one you don't have a set stitch like you do over here, but it's not a problem. Just, I'm going to just chain 1, so you can chain 1, and then I'm going to just go in here. And remember, slip stitch is just going right through your stitch. Just try and get it fairly even. You don't want too many, and you don't want to 15 rows, so you should actually have 15 stitches. So if we go on it by 15 stitches, I think we should be okay. Generally 15, because then both sides will be equal. So just do that. I've got 1 2 3 4 5, and it's a little tight because I didn't do a chain or anything. 6 7. So now by number 7 I should be more or less halfway. So I am 7 8. I do want 15, and I know they're both the same. 8 9. Alright, so I've done my 15 there. Now if your bracelet, I call it a bracelet, if your cuff is too small for you, now I've got a fairly small wrist, so for me when I've got this on, it's a little bit it's a little loose on me, but I'm happy with it. If you need yours to be longer than what mine is, I don't suggest you change the inside. I would keep the inside. You can, we're slip stitching all the way across, then we're going to do a row of single crochet. Now what you could do is, when I do the single crochet, you could do just on this side, because you don't want to make this any wider. You can just do 1, turn your work around, do another row and another row just on these before you actually do your border. And I'll explain that a bit better, but that would be another way. So you just have more black on the end here. You know, there's different ways to make it longer without actually changing your pattern. But anyway, I'll talk about that a little more when I get there. But anyway, so now what you're going to do is each one of these stitches, what you can also be aware of, whichever side you think looks better on yours, that's the side that you want to have facing you. That's the side I'm doing, which is this one. They're basically the same. I mean, now you're just going to keep doing what you did there and slip stitch into each one of these stitches. Now on my corner, I'm just going to put an extra one. Well, no, I'm not going to. Just go into one of these stitches. Just go into the next one and slip stitch right through. And that's all that I'm going to do now. It's a little harder on this side because you don't have an actual single crochet that you had over here. So you're slip stitching into the foundation chain that you had made. So, but don't freak out like, oh, I got to have exactly the right amount of stitches. Just do it so it's not puckering and that it looks good. And I'm going to keep doing that. So what you're going to do is do that all the way around. Slip stitch all the way there, all the way there, all the way there until you get back to here. And then I'll meet you back here. Alright, so now I've come all the way around and I am going to do single crochet for the next round. Now, this is where you're going to want to see. Now if you need your cuff to be longer than what this one is, just do about, well, however many rows you want in single crochet going this way. And then so for example, I'll do 1 single crochet over there, I will turn it around, 1 single crochet back, turn, 1 back, and then stop there, come to the side and do the same thing. Do however many single crochets you need. Then you can do where you're going all the way around with your single crochet. So this, now you've made it longer just by doing rows. Then you can come from start at the one point and go all the way across and do 1 single crochet. So you would come over to these sides longer, and then we will come and do our board, and you would go over those this way. So that's one way to make it longer. Or you could just, you can just put some chains, make a chain loop here with a button there, and that'll stretch it out. I mean, there are different ways of doing it. All right, so what you're going to do now is I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just going to single crochet in each of the slip stitches that I had made. So here's my first one, and they are a little tricky because single crochet, like I said, is a bit of a tighter stitch. So you're going to just single crochet, just do it as best you can. Alright, so remember we had 15 here, so just remember you got 15 stitches to go through. So yeah, that's all that you're going to do, and you can see where your slip stitch is, and I'm just really lifting them up. So there it is there. I'm just going to lift up the 2 stitches that made it, and that's your single crochet. So yeah, we're going to do that all the way around. See there, I just lift them up like that. Go all the way around until you get back here, and then I'll show you what to do. Alright, so I've gone all the way around with my single crochet. Now just remember with your corners, if you feel that you need to add an extra one as you go around, just do so. You don't want your corners to come in like this. You don't want them to pucker. So to keep something straight, you have to add more stitches. I just kind of went with mine, and it's fine. Mine worked out just fine. So, but always remember, if you need on your corners, that's where you would add maybe just an extra single crochet, but it's up to you. Anyway, so now I've come all the way around, and I'm going to just go into my very first stitch with a single crochet, a slip stitch. Now what I want to do is, I'm only going to do, now this is also up to you. If you want to have this like frill part on your side as well, then you can just keep going around with the pattern that I'm showing you, but I didn't want it on my sides. It doesn't really matter, either way it will be great, but it would have made mine too big for me. So there's another way. It would have, just by putting that extra little frill, it would make mine too big, and then I'm sitting with far too big. So, but you can do that as well. So what I did was I just single crocheted across, and then I did my single crochet with my picot here. I just single crocheted across, and I went there. And if you want to, if it's too big, you could also just slip stitch across. You could just slip stitch across as well, whichever way works for you. So anyway, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm just going to, for this row, I'm just going to, where I went into my stitch, I'm just going to do single crochet. So I'm just going to find it here now. So just do for this row, for this side one, you're just going to do a single crochet. Okay, so now I've done the single crochet across there, and now I'm on this side, and I want to do that little frill. So I'm going to start off by chaining 3. That's going to be my first picot, and then I'm going to go into this stitch and there. It's just a normal picot. I always single crochet mine. Okay, and then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and there you've done your 1. Now you're going to single crochet into the next, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and picot. Go through those, and you're coming down from your picot, you're going to single crochet 1, and then you're going to single crochet into the next one, and then we're going to do our chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then these are the 2 that I come into right over there. Bring it through and through, single crochet, and then single crochet. So you single crochet to end that, and then you single crochet to start this one. So 1, 2, 3, and then you go through this one in there. Okay, it's just the end to here. That's where I do it. You know, you're just trying to turn your little chain into a picot. And that's all that you're going to do. You know, just making these chain 3s and a little picot, and it looks like that all the way around. So yeah, and then like I say, go all the way across, and then on this side just do single crochet, unless you're wanting to do the little picots there. But yeah, there's really nothing to it. So it's chain 3, 1, whoops, 1, 2, 3, and then it's the end. Yeah, if you want to go in there, that's also fine. I just like to go into these two. I like to go in there and there. Whoops. And bring through and through, and then single crochet in the and that is in your next stitch. You're going into the next stitch each time, so nothing's done in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, go through there, and then see single crochet in the next stitch, and single crochet in the next one, and start your picot again with chain 3. So yeah, that's all that you're going to do, and you're going to do that all the way around. And yeah, that's basically it, and then you should be good to go by ending and sewing all these in, and either putting a button on or putting this on. You know, you choose how you want to do yours. You could put 3 of these on and then just attach it. What I did was I just put these little hooks over here. Maybe you can see this one a bit easier. I just sewed it on over there. I just sewed on there and sewed on there, and that's it. And then all I'm going to do is wrap it around and hook it on to my actual crochet ring, because then you can make it whichever size you want. Now if you want to do it in a different way, you could put a button on or whatever you want to do, but I'm just trying to hook it here. It's a little tricky, but it's the best way for me, because then I can make it bigger or smaller. And that's it. You just hook it into your other side, and there's your bracelet cuff. So yeah, I love it. I enjoy wearing them, and once again, do it in any that you come right with yours. If you don't, feel free to ask me any questions, and yeah, I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.